Hey everyone, welcome to another video of us sharing our tips to our happy marriage. And today is a topic about child care issues and problems. And this is something that again people overlook quite a lot, and it's something that can actually cause a lot of problems. Like a lot, because it's quite stressful.
Because they're not pre-thinking and you're not preparing for when you do have kids.
Exactly. So I mean, before we had kids and stuff like that, we sort of like spoke about it.
Yeah.
That, you know, once we have the babies,
what are we going to do work-wise?
Exactly.
Who's going to stay at home? Who's going to go to work?
Who's going to go part-time maybe?
Yeah.
Because...
And obviously, I'm not going to lie to you, I was really confused. I actually was a bit worried.
Yeah.
Because I thought we want to have kids. I definitely want kids.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We're going to have kids, we need that. And then I thought,
can we afford them?
Can we afford it? Like, how am I going to pay the bills by myself? Or, is Primrose going to have to stop working or go part-time?
Yeah.
And then I'm not going to have enough money in my pocket. Oh, that's going to be a bit of a crappy life. Like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, we couldn't really afford our lifestyle wage anyway.
But you do, that's how you think.
Yeah.
All this stuff went through my head.
Yeah.
And then Primrose came up with a great idea, which a lot of people don't know about, and that was having an au pair, a live-in au pair.
Yeah, so the live-in help was basically like, it's usually a foreign girl who comes in, most of the time is trying to learn English, and they stay in your house and you obviously house them, feed them, and they're just part of the family, but they look after the kids once you've gone to work. And
it's a lot more cost effective as well.
It's a lot more cost effective because you're giving them free accommodation and free food. So we used to pay like £100 a week on top of them, you know, staying with us. So the money that they paid is usually considered like pocket money, but again they can only work a certain amount of hours because
requirements.
Yeah, there was like a confusion. Like sometimes the people asking me like, oh, so you got no pay, so does that mean you just like go home and put your feet up and do nothing? And I was like, no, they're not a slave.
That's not what it's like. Yeah.
As soon as I get in, I run upstairs, take my uniform. I've got like 10 minutes to get my uniform, and you know, I've just done a full day's job, and now I'm gonna have to be with the kids again. It's you know,
it's basically just a way of you being able to work full time.
That's it.
To a point, as long as your hours aren't crazy.
Yes.
But it's just that's basically what it was. So I thought, wow, okay, so there is an avenue.
Yeah.
So at that point, obviously you have to understand, I don't have a retired mum and dad, so that was never an option to drop the kids at mum and dad and then go to work and then pick them up. Some people are lucky enough to have that, some people live with their parents.
Yeah.
So that's perfect. So Prim said, let's get an au pair. So she's gone about getting the au pair. We've got an au pair.
Yeah.
And I remember the first day we left Havana with the au pair, I think she was about 9 months.
She was 9 months, when I first went back to work.
Yeah, what I first did initially, which if you're thinking about getting an au pair and childcare is an issue for you, and maybe you didn't know about au pairs, but now you will find out what they're all about through us, we actually installed a camera in the house.
Yeah.
So it wasn't expensive. I just bought the camera, attached it to my, plugged it in, attached it to my Wi-Fi, got the app on my phone, and I could watch everything.
Yeah.
And I can see everything live, so, and it records, which is great. So by doing that, it kind of created a bit of a safety factor of it.
Yeah, exactly, because it wasn't like a secret camera where the au pair didn't know the camera was there.
No, they knew.
We made it blatantly obvious that like, look, the camera is there, so it's not because we don't trust you, it's because for your safety and for the child's safety. So if something happens, at least it's on camera to show that, you know, you didn't do anything.
That's it.
So yeah, a camera was definitely a good thing, and because you were able to view it when you're at work, and you could also talk to the house.
Talk through the camera and everything.
Yeah, and you could hear the person talk back at you. I know like sometimes people use it to house sit their houses when they go on holiday.
Yeah, for pets and stuff.
Yeah,
as well.
Because this camera, if listen owners at home, it sends you a text message if it triggers a movement in your house where there shouldn't be any movement. So your camera was definitely a good thing, and the cost of it being £400 a month was something that was amazing. Because when I was looking at nannies were costing that if I went back to work full time, after I'd paid for the nanny, I only had £200 left.
You weren't feeling anything.
So it was like,
it basically a professional nanny will basically end up costing you
just as much.
Just your wages, basically,
exactly.
An average wage in the UK.
Yeah.
So once we got the au pair and obviously set this camera up, so we left Havana the first time.
Yes.
And I think when we were going to work,
it's heartbreaking.
I was kind of heartbroken. I felt really guilty.
Yeah.
Because I thought I've left my daughter at home with someone that that I know, but I don't really know.
You don't really know.
Do you know what I mean? And I mean, it worked okay.
Yeah.
Some in that time frame, some au pairs were good. Some were amazing.
Yeah.
Who are still friends with us now. They were absolutely brilliant, amazing.
Yeah.
They're like family now.
Yeah, exactly.
And others were just crap, and we got rid of them straight away.
Yeah, lasted 1 week.
In that time frame, Primrose had to take a couple of days off in holiday to train them up.
Yeah.
As what we expected in our household.
And get the child used to the au pair.
And get the child used to au pair, yeah. So a lot of holiday got used up on that as well.
Yeah.
But as I said, the first time around I was gutted. I was a bit choked up. But eventually we got used to it.
You get used to it,
and some of them became like family. Some of them were great.
Yeah, I've got 2 girls that I've known for almost 4 years now. And
they're
they're like family.
Yeah.
They call me and say, oh, I want to come to England to visit. So, just come.
And they miss the kids.
Yeah, exactly. You don't even have to call. You're just like my adopted daughter now. You know?
It is tough. It worked well for us though, didn't it?
It worked well, yeah.
But there was a lot of people that had a lot of warnings about au pairs, which they would warn Primrose about. Just another thing that you have to remember in your relationship if you're going to get a living au pair.
So I was like constantly, oh Prim, I hear you're getting au pair. I'll be like, yeah. It's like, oh, what about Jazz? I'm like, what about Jazz? It's like, what about if he runs off with the au pair?
What if he runs off with the au pair?
Oh God.
And you know what au pairs are like.
Yeah. And it was like constantly I was getting these warnings from everyone. Oh, your au pair who's going to take your husband, or your husband is going to run off with you.
And they always say make sure that they're really ugly.
Yeah, make sure they're fat and ugly. And I was just like, and when we got a new au pair, I was like, is she fat and ugly, Prim? I'm like, no, she's just like a normal person.
Girl, yeah. And I'd always get guys come up to me, what's the au pair like?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know, she's alright. Like, she's just a nice person. I treat her like family.
Yeah, exactly.
But my intentions are clean, whereas your partner's intentions might not be the best.
Exactly.
And you know what your family, what your relationship's like.
Yeah.
You know if your partner's a big flirt or whatever.
And
so maybe at that
I knew
point,
of someone who actually said, I used to be an au pair, and now she's married to the husband that she was working with for the family.
Okay,
and I was like, how could you do that? And so she also is warning me, like, look,
be careful.
This is what au pairs are like.
Run away with her.
Yeah, because they'll come into your home and sometimes feel like, oh, now this is a safe place, and they can just like push the wife out and move in and take over. But I was like, like we talked about the trust issue. I have complete trust on Jazz. I can't be with him 24/7 wherever he is. So if something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen anyway. It doesn't have to be just because.
But my intentions are clean, and the au pair was actually a really good idea for us. And in that time frame, like I said, we met great people. Our kids fell in love with
Oh yes, yeah. And even now they ask for them. Oh, when is so and so gonna come and visit? And it's always like on WhatsApp and stuff like that.
And I was just glad there was an avenue of you going to work.
Yes.
And being able to make money because, as I said, it's not cheap to have children. So both people normally have to work. And one of the main factors of actually getting an au pair was I did not want to work opposite shifts from my wife.
Yes.
So I didn't want to be getting up at, I didn't want my wife getting up at 3 or 4 in the morning, going to work on an early shift.
Yeah.
And then in the car park, we swap kids.
Which
and then I'm going for a late shift. Like, I did not want that. That would mean basically I wouldn't see my wife. I'd probably see her twice in a week.
What about if I did overtime?
Or if I did overtime, I'd only see her in the evenings. Yeah. If that.
But then you're tired and you're getting ready to go for a shift or whatever. And
you might want to go and see your friends. You're going to have no time for anyone. I didn't want that. I said, we'll get an au pair. We'll work the same shifts. So we go to work together and we come home together.
Yes.
We don't work together, but we work separately as normal.
Yeah.
But we'll go to work together, come home together. Our shift pattern is the same. And every afternoon, every evening we're with the kids.
Yes.
And it worked really well for us.
It worked really well because like usually we got home just before 3 o'clock. So it meant like we had the whole evening with the kids, we picked up the kids from nursery or whatever it is. And so we still saw them before bedtime. So we still had that quality time. Because that's another fear that people think, oh, the au pair is going to almost become like the mum. Because they're seeing the au pair a lot more than the actual mum. That the au pair can end up taking over a lot.
I mean, you have to, as I said, with the thing about working a separate shift pattern as partners, you have to prioritise what's important to you.
Yeah.
So for me, it was really important that the whole family was together. So I said, no, au pair is a very good idea. Let's not work opposite shifts. Yeah. Let the au pair take care of the children in the morning. And then when we get home, we're all together. Yeah. And then they can clock off and do whatever they want to do. And have their free time. So for me, the au pair was a no-brainer in the end.
That's it.
Yeah, it was a really good option.
So this is something that you definitely need to put in a lot of thought when you're having kids and you're thinking about childcare costs and stuff like that, because like we said, sometimes if you're getting a nanny or if the kids are going to a nursery, because we went and inquired at a nursery.
And again, it was very.
And the nursery was like, oh, it's £60 a day. They said, oh, it's £60. And because I was just I was naive at the time, to me it didn't make sense. It would be £60 a day. So I just thought she meant a week. Then later on I thought, oh no, it's £60 a day. I was like, what? You mean like £300? Are you crazy?
A week, yeah. So again, it's like having a professional nanny. You're just not getting.
Yeah.
It's not effective for one person to go to work. Then at that point, you might as well stay at home.
Why would I pay £300, baby? I'm not getting paid £300 a week, am I?
No, you're right.
So the nursery was definitely out of the question for us. Getting a nanny, that was out of the question for us as well. So the only option that we had
was a living
because
au pair.
we didn't have mum and dad, we were retired. Was a live-in au pair, and for us it worked very well for
it was also good
for the most part.
Yeah, and not only that, it was good for an option if we needed to spend some quality time together.
Yes.
Me and Primrose, we could still say to the au pair, look, okay, we'll pay you an extra whatever.
Yeah, do you want to do babysitting?
Do 2 hours babysitting.
Yeah.
And they will do it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're paying them the rate, and that's all that matters. And once you do that,
yeah,
you can go out for dinner.
Yeah.
So there's other options there for you.
Exactly.
As a couple as well. So au pair is a good option.
Yeah.
A very good option.
And the company that we use most of the times, because I know that people are going to ask, was called Au Pair World.
Yeah.
That's where we got all of our au pairs, and it's up to you to do the necessary checks, like criminal checks and all that stuff. Is up to you.
Yeah.
But on there's like literally thousands and thousands of girls looking for work. So so if that's something that you need, that's something that's definitely out there, and that's a avenue for you to be able to get childcare. So yeah, so definitely don't forget about childcare costs and issues
and discuss beforehand who's going to go part-time, who's going to be full-time.
Yeah.
If you're going to work opposite shifts, remember to discuss all
that stuff,
because that will all affect you later. Before you have kids, you want to talk about that.
That's it. If the child carer is sick, or if the child itself is sick in that nursery, that means one of you needs to take a day off, or 2 or 3 at work. Again, most of the times that's eating into your time off, your holiday time. So it's a lot to consider, and it's something that can get quite stressful quite quickly. So definitely think about that one. And again, guys, if you've got any suggestions or any comments or any tips of how you dealt with childcare issues, definitely leave them in the comment section below, and we can all benefit from your knowledge. Yeah,
definitely.
Because it's good when we share information, because we haven't got it all figured out. So we wanted to have input from different people. And again, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe button below, and share the video with your family and friends, and we'll see you in our next video. That's it.
Okay,
bye for now. Today we're going to be talking about communication.
Which we obviously are very good at.
I think we've spoken about communication so many times, you probably guys